Hello. What happened?
Welcome.
I don't know,
to
Anthony.
the
What
AFC
up?
Shakedown.
We're live. There we go.
That's week 4. Recapping. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. He's
That's all right.
China is not being our friend today. But yeah, week 4 of the AFC Shakedown. We got Tommy from the Mafia Sports Report. We got Curtis from Ace Per Head and Captain D joining. What's up, guys? Busy week here.
What's going on?
Recap the weekend's games. Not too much, man. What's going on with you guys? Start the Miami Dolphins. Tough weekend of games.
Tough couple of decades.
Wasn't the best of performance for you guys.
Yeah, it was another rough. It was a rough weekend. I was actually I was down in Key West celebrating my birthday, so I was able to watch the game down there. And it was. I knew what I was gonna be, what I was expecting out of this Dolphins team going on the road to Seattle with Skylar Thompson starting. And hey, it is what it is right now. We're struggling between obviously losing Tua, Skylar. I don't have much faith in Skylar, but
Huntley, you heard Huntley got the call. He's starting.
He's got the call. Old Snoop's got the call. So yeah, Snoop's got the call. But yeah, it was a rough watch. I think that we had opportunities in that game. I really do. Are we touching on the game right now? I'm sorry. Before I go into my,
Yeah. Okay. We're doing the recaps of last week. So we already did the Jets. So because that was a Thursday game. So yeah, we're recapping the two games. So go ahead, Captain D.
Okay. So yeah, there was opportunities in that game. We were able to force some turnovers. We got 2 interceptions on Geno, but we just were not able to capitalize on those turnovers.
We were sloppy.
We were sloppy. We were very, very sloppy. A lot of penalties. McDaniel looked frustrated on the sideline, and a lot of illegal formations and shifts, and it was just tough to watch. And even then, like I said, there was opportunities to be in this game. Jason Sanders missing a field goal, which could have helped us kind of stay in it, but it was ugly. It was unfortunate, but hey, this is a new week, so let's see.
Super Bowl run starts here.
Yeah.
Turn it around.
Yep.
We needed to get the 2 in the can to lose. We didn't want to break a perfect season.
Yeah. Yep.
Curtis, go ahead, man. What you think about your game?
Well, I thought we were going to lose by 10 points. I know, for me, I can see that if you watch over the last couple of years, I think it was 2021, Tua was blitzed 31 times. Then he went down to 25 and 24. This year it's 13. And if you even watch Allen had his best season when they blitzed the most in the league. And then they started pulling off that blitz and his level of production went down. Last year, jumped back to 30%. This year, it jumped back to 30%. And so the defenses and the DCs are telling you exactly what they think of this offense, especially the offensive line. You can look at the techniques of the edge players and how they're getting farther into that 5 tech and started getting a 6. They're screw it. You can't run inside. We'll leave all 2 guys in maroon. We'll play high 5-yard leverage. We're just going to look at Achane. Last year, he was Mr. Edge run. He's got nothing. So, I knew what was going to happen, but I didn't think we were going to be that sloppy. It looks like McDaniel is getting frazzled. It looks like, the I'm your friend thing. We're averaging 9 penalties a game. We're averaging 11 points a game, which is 32nd. So our penalties are better than our points, but neither one of them's good. And that says a lot of bad stuff. I think we're going to win. I do think we're going to win this week. I think the long-term prognosis is likely grim. But it's a hard game. It was a hard game. It was one of those games I thought was going to be tough, even with Tua, even if we were playing well. They had a lot of injuries too. They came in with no D-line. Everybody was out. I think it was who it was. That top guy, I can't always remember his name. He was a former Jet. He was out after 5 plays. We were playing 232-year-old DTs. Like you'll see people write, well, we ran inside all day and we were successful. Like, doesn't anybody consider matchups? Like they were calling people from the stands. Come on, do we need DTs? Bring them in here. The linebacker core was gutted. So it was a shambles. We're a shambles. We got concussions on Fuller to boot and Thuram to boot. So I'm going to go start getting therapy this week in order to cover the Dolphins, be a Dolphins fan. That's what I think.
I thought. Yeah, go ahead, Captain D. Go ahead.
And even more frustrating. I mean, I think I read something again this morning that one of the beat writers for the Miami Herald was writing that, and I think the headline was the Dolphins are, if Skylar Thompson, when he's recovers from his rib injury, that he still has a shot. And I'm reading that and I'm like, I've never coached professionally or played professional football, but just looking at Skylar Thompson, he can't process the field. It's just not there. Personally, that's what I see. So it's very, very frustrating. A lot of questions to be asked.
Well, here's the thing, D. Okay, me, man. Like I wake up, I was telling Anthony. Sometimes I wake up at 2:00 in the morning. It's like something I start studying football. We ran. This is like mind blowing. 71% pass rush mitigation between our screens and play actions. We ran 71% of our plays were that. So that restricts guys in routes, and he still had a 50% pressure rating.
Wow.
Think about that. So remember, back in the day, it'd be like you do a 7-step drop with the 5 guys in routes, and it was like a quarterback's field day. You got 2 and 3 guys in routes, and they blitzed us 3 times. So we loaded the box with bodies, played quick throw all day to keep them off of us, and they only rushed 3 times. So I went over the numbers. It was like a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 to +1 ratio of receivers. So every receiver had 2+ defenders on like 98% of the plays. And so what that does, it forces the quarterback to have to read better. And when he doesn't feel trusted with the protection, and he's got all these defenders, he's just seeing the opposing colors and 2 or 3 guys of his own guys. It's not an easy day. And it goes back to the old line. It sets the difficulty level. So you got a guy, and I think Huntley will have a better time. But even look at Tua.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing good in his year.
So I thought this game would be closer. I called a closer game in this game because I thought the Dolphins would give some sort of fight. I still am not like I don't think Seattle's like this, juggernaut of a team. Geno Smith is okay. Like he's not a bad quarterback, but he's also not a guy that is going to kill you. They were missing their Kenneth Walker, which is one of their better running backs in the league. So they were banged up as well. But here's the problem. Here's what I see as far as outside looking in for the Dolphins. So I feel like you had time, a lot of time to prepare for Seattle from the Bills game, right? You had 10 days, yep. 11 days.
You get 10 days for this one too.
Yeah. I get Skylar Thompson is familiar with the offense. However, he's not Tua. So I think, honestly, who dropped the ball, in my opinion, is your head coach. Because you had all that time to prepare against Seattle. At least make it more easier or comfortable for Skylar Thompson, right? At least change it up a little bit versus Seattle, rather than just go in there and try to stick with the same game plan. I know you can't, Curtis. That's my point, Curtis. You're not listening. Oh my God, Curtis! I just said that, Curtis. It doesn't, Curtis, but you can make
for flag football. That's what we're.
I know what you're designed. Curtis, you're not listening. You're excited. I'm with you. Your coach had 10 days to prepare and at least make it easier for Skylar Thompson to run that offense, to make the playmakers on the offense actually make plays rather than rely on Skylar Thompson like he does.
Put him on the field. We got Hill and Waddle $60 million, and half the time they're on the sidelines on a big play.
I'm trying to tell you that you
save me, Tommy. Save me.
I'm trying to explain.
Tommy. Save me.
That's where I'm getting at. You have playmakers like Hill and Waddle. You have speed in your running backs and Achane. Why didn't you not prepare this team better going against Seattle. Run the ball more. Get Hill more involved with whatever, jet screens, handoffs, quick bubble screen passes to Hill. Let your playmakers.
Chess. He's a genius. He's rope-a-dope in the league. He's coming out of the box. Not this week, though.
Listen, McDaniel, he looks lost out there. And I get it. Your quarterback's gone. It's never easy. I think most teams in the NFL, if you lost your starting quarterback, it is really, really
Unless
tough.
Minnesota or the Packers.
Unless you're Minnesota Packers. Yes, and there are some teams that can get by. I agree with that. But like I said, though, they're also, if you look at Green Bay, they played a little bit differently when their backup quarterback, and they had offensive plays that suited their quarterback that came in. It wasn't the same how Jordan Love would run Green Bay. I'm just throwing that out there. So I just feel like McDaniel right now, he didn't help Skyler at all.
He's
now,
a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, will he do that? Now, I am curious what he does with Huntley. Like, I am curious if he does any adjustments with Huntley, who's a more mobile quarterback than Skyler. But it's a guy that hasn't played in a little while. So very curious what you guys do this week. But anyways, that's my thoughts. He didn't help Skyler at all. And that's why the game got out of control. And Skyler was like he just looked so lost and confused out there. And I think he started hearing footsteps
That's how it
at the
feels
end.
to be a Dolphin fan.
Yeah, it was just not.
Thompson.
I feel bad for the guy. I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Anthony. What are your thoughts on it, man? And Anthony's on a delay, guys, so we'll just pause.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So, as far as the Dolphins game is concerned, it was kind of my expectation a bit that, obviously with Tua missing time, when you lose your quarterback as a Jet fan, we know all well the production is going to drop pretty significantly. Skylar Thompson, we saw what he was a couple years ago, just wasn't a solid producer. They were not a good team with him playing. They had Mike White there. I thought he was a pretty viable backup, at least when he was with the Jets, at least somebody who can operate an NFL game plan. He had a 400-yard game against Cincinnati a couple years ago, at least somebody you can rely on in a short period of time. His biggest problems were his injuries. I know that there were some cap issues related with that. So, obviously that makes sense from a financial standpoint. But when you're a team like the Dolphins, who's, all in on trying to get something done here in this window with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Ramsey, everything about them shows all in, and they didn't have a backup quarterback plan behind Tua. It doesn't make sense from that standpoint. And unfortunately, they're in a similar situation that we were in last year. They're in kind of quarterback purgatory until Tua comes back, even if he comes back.
Yeah. Yep. Curtis, what's your thoughts on that, on Anthony? What do you have to say about Mike White? You think it would have been any difference with him if he was still on the team?
Nah, he looked look, you saw Boyle come in, and he could do some things. He's a little bit more calm under the fire. But Boyle came in at the back end when the kind of game was out of hand. It's the offensive line. We're built for flag football. We're built for a different game. The game a couple of years ago was fun ball. It's not that anymore.
Yeah,
it's fast balance. We're built for flag football. We're built for an offense that's not conducive for today. A different type of defense, different type of environment. And it's like, we can't even afford Mike White. How do we not afford Mike White? We have an unprecedented draft capital from 2022 on, and we're broke. We're broke for the next 2 years. And we let guys like Wilkins and Hunt go because we don't need them, but they're the guys that are fitting the new offensive cycle. But don't worry. We only got, we got a good offensive line. It's 4 days.
Let me ask you this, Curtis, and then Captain D, you can respond.
Yeah, and then you can stop torturing me. How about that?
So no, I'm not torturing.
He's like the guy with the magnifying glass over the ant with the sun. So what do you think?
I'm not torturing you at all. I'm just asking. This is what it's about, man. Listen, Curtis, what can you? I get what you're saying about the offensive line, and it starts really, up front. I'm with you. But what can you do moving forward, knowing what you know about your offensive line? What can you do to somewhat
Well, it's like saying I'm 98 pounds. I'm getting into the heavyweight division. What can I do to win that match?
Yeah, but you have to think of Curtis. But I get it. But what can help this team at least? What would you do if you're the head coach right now? What would you do? You can't just say nothing.
Miracle. Yeah. So all you could do is play clean football, let your defense try to do its job, don't have turnovers, don't have penalties, and try to wait for a few big plays. Problem is, though, that's only going to work against the lesser teams. You're not even going to be able to beat the average teams like you did last year. We were smoking average teams. But even if you watched last year when we played the Broncos, teams were playing the edge players inside and they were getting a crack block. And then you notice the NFL rules change and now we're not doing that fast motion anymore. So it's like it's kind of like the king without clothes. Everybody's kind of going, dude, you got no clothes. And so it's like there's nothing really – you could do a little here or there, but it's not going to take you anywhere seriously. And there's no way – and if you want to be a Kool-Aid drinker, of course, you can say whatever you want. Right. There's no way to get this season right and likely next season either. Because this team is going to get older, more expensive, guys going to leave, and you have to install a whole new offense. And you need big pieces all across the board. So anything's possible. I think Snoop adds a nice element with you could run zone stretch and roll off them and buy some time. But is that really going to – if they're just going to be playing cover two shells all day, you might get a little here and there, and you're probably going to beat the Titans. But it's not going to, like, make all this, justified. I mean, just think about all the picks that we had, all the ammo we had. You shouldn't be here struggling and chomping at a Titans 0-3 team. Just even if you lose, it's insane. So I think there's little things, but nothing major.
Captain D, what do you think? I mean, is there a way to turn the season around at this point, even if you guys get Tua back?
I don't think there's a way to turn the season around. Unfortunately, the Miami Dolphins hierarchy made their decision and invested in Mike McDaniel and all these Jalen Ramsey, paying him, making him the highest paid quarterback. The moves that they've made, are not addressing the offensive line in the offseason. Yes, we drafted Patrick Paul. He seems like he might be a legitimate left tackle. We're going to see. He's a rookie. He's young. But he fits the bill. He looks good. He plays nasty. Let's see when he plays against the big boys, when we actually put him out there. But everything's kind of coming down, crashing. I don't know how much we can change. I think that's why you're seeing Tyler Huntley starting this week, is that they're looking, like Curtis said, for that different element to spark this offense. But there is no way with as much talent as this team has that we should be struggling. They never fully invest a compatible backup quarterback. Mike White struggled in camp, and that's why they released him. Skylar Thompson, you chose to invest this much time in Skylar Thompson, and it's just not panning out. So,
what's the timetable on Tua's return as of right now?
I think he met with the reports where he met with neurologists. Nobody knows.
Curtis, you have any insight on Tua's return?
Probably not the Arizona. Probably the Arizona game is where but then it's difficult because then he's got to go from the Arizona game to the Bills game.
I mean, what week is that? Week what? Because I don't know your schedule.
Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Week 8, so maybe week 8. They're thinking
week 7. I think is Indy.
So you're looking at another 3 or 4 games without.
You got a bye week. We're lucky we got a bye week. So it's there's the Titans game and the and then the Pats game, then the bye week, and then the Indy game.
Okay, so there is some winnable. To be honest with you, there's some winnable games there without him. Like you should beat Tennessee, I would think, at home, right? You're at home. I believe you're at home.
You should, you should.
So there's a chance, maybe, if you guys could at least win 2 of the 3 that you have remaining, when Tua returns, that you could still maybe get back on track. I mean, I get
Yeah,
what you're
but
saying.
it's like it's the long-term prognosis. You know,
No,
it's
I
just
get
almost
it.
like
Yeah, I'm with
last
you.
year. Last year, we could beat certain teams and blow them out and look like stars. Then we went against the better teams in worse conditions. We failed. Well,
Yeah.
we're a worse team this year than last year. So it's like, you know, you could put face paint on a crack whore and go, that's my girl. She's a good-looking girl. As soon as you get closer, the rain comes and you're like, oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I get it. All right, Anthony, any last thoughts?
All right. So I think we're good on Dolphins here at this point. A lot of misery, and we'll still touch on them again, talking about their week's game against Titans. But let's jump over to the Monday night fiasco. The Bills completely dominating a terrible Jacksonville team. No disrespect for the Bills there. I mean, they're a great team, took care of business against a really, really poor team. Tommy, give me your thoughts here. I mean, obviously not much to be upset about. Go for it.
No. I told you guys it would be a blowout. I know a lot of you guys. I'm not sure. I think a couple of you guys had it kind of close last week when we did this show because the Jaguars had our number and they played well the last two games against us. But I told you we're a different team. We're a different team. We have a different philosophy going into the season. The offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, he preached something and it's showing. Like, it's not like he just – because a lot – like I told you guys last week, a lot of these coaches – they'll tell you what you want to hear, and then the season starts, and it's nowhere near what they were saying, what it's going to be like, right? What their plans are. And Joe Brady stuck with that. Joe Brady has stuck with everyone's going to eat. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle on offense. There's no superstars, but everybody's bought in. And I felt like Jacksonville going into that game, they had no idea what we were going to do, who we were going to go throw to. 10 different receivers caught the ball. James Cook got going to a little bit. We didn't have to use him too much, but still balanced. And our defense is playing at a high level. And I said that last week too. Our depth at defense is really, really good. Now, granted, Jacksonville's not a good team, but we did what we had to do against a bad team. But they do have playmakers. Jacksonville still is one of those teams that can creep up and beat a good team. So I felt like we didn't let the foot off the gas pedal. We wrecked them, and that's what you're supposed to do against bad teams. And that's what we didn't do last year when we went into our little funk. We were losing against teams like Jacksonville, teams that we weren't supposed to be losing to. And this season is a little bit different so far. But yeah, you got to credit. There's a lot of people who got to credit for so far week 3 in, right? 3 weeks into football. You got to credit Sean McDermott. You got to credit the coaching staff. And you got to credit the players for buying in, because Josh Allen could have said, nah, I want to do what I want to do. I want to still chuck it downfield. I want to go for the big play every single time. That's not what he's doing. He has no interceptions, 0, right? And I don't think anybody saw that 3 weeks. He has 1 turnover, which is week 1 and a fumble. He hasn't been sloppy with the ball at all. Everybody's buying in, and that's what's great. And Josh Allen is the most important part of this thing. He bought in. And by the way, too, players are doing the little dirty things that make this offense work. The blocking downfield, Mac Hollins, like all these little things is what's making this offense click. And that's what I love, man. And the defense, once again, I go back to it. Missing half our defense, it feels like. But yet players are stepping up, man. And that's why depth is so important, man. And a lot of these draft picks, a lot of these guys that are stepping up are late round draft picks are undrafted, and they're playing at a high level. So got to credit Brandon Beane, got to credit Sean McDermott. I know it's a long season. It's a marathon. We got a tough game coming up against Baltimore. But so far through 3 weeks, I think we have really surprised a lot of people and a lot of naysayers that were, you can't win without a, number 1 wide receiver. They lost all these defenders, and Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. But what they don't get is Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde were a shell of themselves over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, we know that with Dolphin fans. Right? We know that. We know that really well.
That? Trey White, by the way, is having a terrible season with LA. Like you said, he's really getting
hard way.
So, So, bro, you got to. The thing is, man, you got to start going younger in the draft. You got to develop these players. And a lot of the time, man, fans are quick to go, "Oh, bust. We haven't seen him. It's been 2 years. He hasn't done anything." while they're developing these guys. So like you got to give a little bit patience too with some of these draft picks, these late round draft picks, and they're working out. So that's how I feel about the game. We did what we had to do, and now on to Baltimore. So Captain D, go ahead.
Not surprised. I was a little bit surprised with Jacksonville. I don't think they're that much of a bad team. I think the game just got out of hand. It was in Buffalo, and Josh Allen had, once again, Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. He had a great game, 4 touchdowns, looked incredible. I was one of those naysayers that I was like, Buffalo lost some pieces offensively, obviously with Diggs, and on defense, but they've done like you said, Tommy, shout out to Brandon Beane. And I said this last year when a lot of the Buffalo fans were calling for McDermott. I was just like, are you crazy? I love Sean McDermott. And it's paying off. You've invested, Kyer Maline, or I forgot his last name, but
Elam.
Elam.
He's a
Benford.
Benford is.
All these draft picks, you got younger and got rid of the older guys that were getting a little long in the tooth. So Buffalo's looks the part as of right now.
Yeah, as of now, it's a marathon, no doubt. That's why I'm not. I don't want to. Like, I'm not. A lot of people are like rah. Like, you got to pump the brakes, right? Long season. But I will say a couple of things before I go to Curtis. Khalil Shakir, that dude is very underrated. That guy's a really, really good receiver. I think you're going to see more. You're going to see better from him. And then also Dalton Kincaid. I feel like his growth, you're going to start seeing him too as getting up there with the top tight ends in the league. It's just right now, the way this system is going, I don't think anyone's going to have wow stats at the end of the season where wow, Dalton Kincaid had 1,300 yards. It's not going to be that way. And I'm okay with that. Winning is everything. We're putting points on the board. Curtis, go ahead, man, about this game.
No, the thing is, I see Brady doing a good general. He's attacking weaknesses. He could have came out and just ran the same game plan, attacked, run inside, but he immediately attacked the edges because he knows that's where they were susceptible. And he worked the edges for that first drive. If you noticed, I think the yards per attempt is one from last year to this year. But you got to be in it to win it. Of course, I spilled water on my desk. It's one of those days. You know what I'm saying, Tommy? One of those days, Tommy.
I know. Well, the Dolphins got you mad, man.
Oh, you got me flustered. I'm like the burnt little ink. But so my team's been built for flag football, but for some people who don't know, this is not flag football. I know, certain people, especially in the Dolphins organization, don't know that. But you built for the new cycle. I had talked about this 3 years ago, and I got to toot my own horn because I can't toot my team's horn, so I got to toot my own horn. And it was clear that the teams are moving to pass balance. That means you have the ability to attack inside, outside. You pass in a balance. You still attack, but you've got to have a full repertoire because defense has been sitting in these light nickel defenses all day long, and you've got to be able to attack it. So your team finally, and to toot your horn a little bit, birthday boy, Mr. 46, you gave a very astute thing and said Bills were the only team that didn't build their offense around their home field advantage. And so now your team has put themselves in the proper NFL offensive cycle. And when you watched that game, you saw them open up. Brady adapted. He said, okay, this is what we like to do. This is what we've been doing. But what's best for this situation? He tested the perimeters. He got some plays. He started getting them on the ropes. And, your defense is not good in a sense because of all these injuries. But with the offense putting points on, running that football, it forces the opposing offense to have to chase a little bit. It makes them more predictable. It gets the game done quicker. And it also gives the defense confidence to know, hey, you know what? If something happens, my offense can come back. And so you're a full toolkit offense. Defense does concern me a little bit with these injuries. It's going to be interesting in the next 3 games to see how they're tested. But when you have an offense that can run, it can pass, and then you got Allen, who is that. And I love, I said a couple of years ago, this guy's going to take care of himself. He's starting to get in his head now. I'm not throwing my body away. I'm going to slide. I might not take the hit. I'll do it when I've got to. So Allen deserves a ton of credit because he's matured. But now it's because he's got a mature OC who gave him the proper framework for his strengths to be enhanced and his weaknesses to be diminished. He doesn't have to play hero ball because you're not forcing him to. And when you do, you control the environments. So I don't know how far the Bills are going to go, but they're in the running. They've got the proper format. I think it's going to be injuries, obviously. There's some concerns on offense. I think Torrance is not having he's kind of having a little bit of sophomore blues.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Me?
You froze. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I froze.
You're good.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good now.
Sorry. So anyway, there's a little bit of problems inside. I think your Edwards, I guess not Edwards. Who's your center?
Connor McGovern.
He's having some struggles. He's been giving up a lot of pass pressures. Torrance is having some sophomore blues. So, but I think that because of this consistency, the biggest problem with you was inconsistency. I think your team's going to do really good this season. I don't know exactly what that means. I think it's all wrapped around health. That's what I think is just all around health.
So the guys that are out, Curtis, just a heads up, they return back to practice, light practice. So it's a good sign. Like Bernard, Teron Johnson, who's like the best nickel in the league. The only guy really that we have to wait for is Milano. He won't be till like this, like November, late November, December. So we're okay right now. I think Dorian Williams has done a really, really good job filling in for Matt Milano so far. So it's not the end of the world, but we would like obviously to have Bernard back soon. I think he's going to be back in like, I would say maybe even next weekend, possibility Bernard returns. Because you can't. I like Balen Spector, but obviously you want Bernard out there, and obviously you want to in time Milano.
You can't be dead down your top two linebackers. That's not happy times.
No. But I gotta say, like I said, once again, depth, young guys. Not only that, dude. I will say last year when we lost our linebackers, we were reaching out to like AJ Klein, like guys that were older, not in the league. Like now we're at least getting these young guys in there that's been on the team a couple years. So I think that helps too. You kind of develop these guys sitting behind Bernard Milano. So they're doing their job. But I get what you're saying. You can't. It won't. We need these guys back to actually have a good run, and they are coming back. So I'm not overly concerned with that. And I feel like the offensive line has actually played pretty well, Curtis. I don't think Osiris Torrance had a bad week 1, but he's actually rebounded pretty well. Spencer Brown, I don't think has given up a sack yet. Deion Dawkins
pressures though or something.
Yeah. I think Deion hasn't. I believe Deion hasn't. McGovern, who the only issue I had McGovern coming in was his snap. He was having issues with snapping the ball in camp, but he doesn't have an issue. And David Edwards has actually been pretty well. So if we could keep this going and they could actually, I like that because once again, we knock on wood, we haven't had any injuries through 3 weeks on the offensive line, which is very important for an offensive line. So I think I'm not saying they're playing great. I do think they're playing good. I don't think they're playing
bad. I'm judging them based on Super Bowl.
I would say their run blocking last week was not not the greatest, but we didn't really need to run. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Jacksonville was bad against the pass, bad against the outside. So I thought their pass blocking was really, really good last week as well. But yeah, that's it for the team. Anthony, you have anything on the game? And no.
Yeah, I think what you got out of this game, if you didn't know it already, is Josh Allen is every bit in the MVP conversation, pretty high up there on that list. What he's done in these first few games has been adapting to the new offensive play calling, offensive system. You mentioned the turnovers. Josh Allen, beginning of last year and up until the middle of the year, that was a big struggle for him. As great as he is, he was making foolish choices and putting the team in a bad spot. As much as he was doing positive for the team, he was also hurting them with those turnovers. This year, he's matured to a different level. Sometimes, all the cryptics on the whole Stephon Diggs leaving the team, what are they going to do? You see a lot of times, like when a team has an elite receiver and that receiver leaves, they make adjustments and, sometimes that quarterback actually gets better. You look at when Matthew Stafford lost Calvin Johnson. That next year, he spread the ball around a lot more than he had done in the past. And I think he had one of his better years with Detroit after Calvin Johnson left. I think you're seeing that a little bit with Josh Allen not having to force feed the ball to one specific player. He's able to kind of make his reads as at his pace, go through his progressions, the open guy, and nobody's killing it on offense. They're just killing it as an offense as a whole, and that's really probably been the biggest surprise, I think, for a lot of people in the NFL, and it's a big reason why I think, like you said, McDermott deserves a lot of credit. He's a good coach. Last year, when you guys were kind of shitting the bed a little bit, a lot of people were calling for his head, and I thought that was pretty foolish. I mean, he brought you guys down from basically nothing, developed a quarterback, developed a defense, and eventually you guys are, how many years running as division champs? I mean, it's kind of been a great run for him. No reason to kind of take him down for one bad year or one bad start to the year. Eventually, it ended where you guys wanted. So hats off to the Bills for a good start. But it's a long season, a tough road coming up here. We'll see how they come out of this. But so far, pretty promising start for the Bills.
Yeah, I listen. So on McDermott, real quick. Like, I'm not. I think McDermott. If you're starting a team, you're starting a team from the ground floor, I think he's a perfect coach. Like, he's a really good coach. He could develop players, get the right guys in, have everyone buy in. Like, he's good with that. Like, I like, and he also too. He when things are going bad, he can figure things out really, really good. When he had that hit piece last year. Like, I give him his dues. His problem is in the playoffs. He tends to crumble. He tends to do things that he didn't do in the regular season. And that sometimes happens with coaches. Like, in every sport, they just sometimes the moment, in these big moments, these big games, they tend to do things they normally don't do, or they crumble under pressure, or, that's my only, I think, fall with McDermott is he hits a wall in the playoff and he does some really weird, decisions as a head coach. But that being said, this whole coaching staff is kind of new. So I feel like McDermott going into year 8, he's starting to understand that he can't do everything. He just, like last year, he was a head coach and defensive coordinator. This year, he's a head coach, and he's letting Bobby Babich run the defense. He's letting Joe Brady run the offense without chiming in. Like, he's starting to understand you have to trust your coaching staff. And he's also brought in the right guys. Aaron Cromer, offensive line coach. He's been there 2 seasons now. He was our old offensive line coach. Excellent offensive line coach. He brought in a cornerback coach from the University of Miami. I forget his name, but he's really, really doing really, really good. You can see Kyer Elam's development, he's playing at a higher level than he has been since we drafted him. So there's a lot of good, but you have to also look at the coaching staff as a whole. So you got to give credit to all these coaches that are doing their job and getting these players to play right and to buy in. And honestly, man, like, it's not a complex offense. It's just, I think it's well executed right now, and all the players are doing their part. And that's why I don't think you're going to see these unbelievable stats, but execution means everything. So that, by the way, too, third down, we're getting into a lot of third downs that are short third downs. So we're not running into like third and longs all the time. We're running into 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, right? As of last year, because we were passing, 3rd and long, 3rd and long, 3rd and long, which is very tough to maintain in the NFL. So 3rd and short is great. And that's how you keep, by the way, too, time of possession, right? You make these long drives, but they're easy long drives because they're 3rd and short. So got to give credit, man. Go ahead,
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy, what a great name that is. Bobby Babich.
Bobby Babich.
It's just an interesting name.
Isn't that a great name? Bobby Babich.
Yeah, it's an interesting name. Bobby Babich.
Yeah, get on over here. Yeah. So he's our coach, by the way. He's been on our roster from last year. All they did was they just pushed him up. You know what I mean? So we didn't hire outside. Most of the time in our Coach McDermott likes to get the coaches in-house and promote them up. So I like that too about McDermott. We don't go on the outside and just start picking other, getting people that don't really know our system or our players. So but you're right, Anthony. I think it's early still. We don't. It's a long season, but right now you gotta like what you see from the Buffalo Bills. Anthony, you want to do the Buddhist man and the style and profiling for the week?
Sure. I guess we'll start with the Dolphins. Curtis, Captain D, if you guys
man, Curtis might have a lot of booze.
You'd have to do a whole show on the booze, man.
Who gets a gold star?
Oh, man.
Chris Greer, man. Boo, Chris Greer. It's like he's a genius. Look what he's done all those years. 2016 he's been here. He's been here in the organization 20 plus years. And we're here now, and you lose your starting quarterback, and then you score 11 points a game. Other guys, LaFleur, Minnie, they still keep on running, but we got a genius because what happens is it's 4D chess. 4D chess of a guy, Chris Greer, who's for life. He's just going to be the GM for life, win, lose, or draw. And then it's 4D chess because he's just storing up for next year and then we're going to win next year. Next year's a Super Bowl, guys. Dolphins a Super Bowl. Go.
Captain D, go.
Oh, man, I'm going to go with Buddhist man. I'm going to say Jason Sanders. He started off with the Dolphins as a very reliable kicker. And has just been very spotty, even as last season. He's just been spotty, but it was just kind of a downhill game from the start, and I'll just say Jason Sanders.
God, it's tough for me because everybody played at a pretty high level, but I'm going to go Bass.
Just rub it, Tommy. Just rub it.
That's right. I think Tyler Bass is still struggling. Had an extra point blocked, and that's on kicking. You got, even McDermott said, that was on Bass. Even though it was blocked, it was still on Bass. Just the way he kicked the ball, I guess it got blocked. Fundamentals. And I just feel like Bass right now, unfortunately for him, his confidence is shot. And as a kicker, it means everything. Every kicker in the NFL said that. When they lose their confidence, very tough to get back. And I feel like that game last year, the Chiefs game, really wrecked him. And he just has not been right. He's not right on the sideline. Everybody sees it. He just don't look confident. And I feel like the only way they get a kicker's confidence back is he's going to have to kick a very important field goal in a game and obviously make it. And that might turn him around to start getting comfortable. I told you guys last week they brought in 2 kickers. Now, mind you, we're paying this guy like top 5 kicker money, right? So if Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are bringing in kickers, they're not. Listen, these kickers are terrible too. Terrible kickers. There was no way we were going to sign them. But it's almost a message, I feel like, to Bass, like, hey, we're letting you know we don't give a fuck about your contract because at the end of the year, we will cut you if this continues. So I think this was more of a wake-up call or more of a message. Like, you got to get your act together, bud. Like, this is a warning in a way. This could happen. We're not afraid to make a change, even if it costs us money. So boo this man, Tyler Bass, until he can get it right. And man, I hate leaving points off a board. I just can't stand it. So anyways, Anthony.
Well, the Jets didn't play a game over the weekend. The last time we touched was after
Thursday. Because did you have a boo this man?
For me was there wasn't much.
Oh, you did. Okay, that's right. You did do that. I forgot we had that.
Last week it was the kicker for us as well. He missed the kick.
Everyone's kicker.
Not much to be upset about after that game.
All right, so let's get to the to the style and profiling, Anthony.
So again, after that Jets-Patriots game, the style and profiling was Aaron Rodgers. Finally seeing him kind of operate the way he wanted to. And we touched on it last week too. Don't got to go too much into it, but Rodgers was every bit of the guy that the Jets wanted to bring in that one game. Let's see how he produces moving forward. But it finally seems like he's getting his legs under him and starting to turn the corner for, hopefully what's a successful season for the Jets.
All right.
We'll move on to, I guess, the Dolphins. Since you guys your kicker made a kick, so I guess you guys can give it to him.
Curtis, who do you have? Style and profiling. That's somebody you like.
I know D. Oh yeah, of course it was. Yeah, D.
Well, pick one. You got to pick one.
I'll let D do it because there's only one guy.
All right, Captain D. Let's see if he matches you. Let's see what you say.
My styling and profiling, which it's tough to pick one in this game, is going to be Zach Sealer.
Man, I knew Curtis. Curtis was that goes Curtis's guy. Go ahead.
I know it.
Zach Sealer showed up. Hey, we're missing. Obviously, we lost Christian Wilkins in free agency.
Don't need him. Garbage player.
But we are missing the pepper. There's a salt, and I call him the salt and pepper shaker. We're missing that little tandem right there. But we still got the salt shaker. And Zach Sealer, he played his ass off. He looked great. He got a pick off of a tip ball. So that's my style and profile in Zach Sealer.
How did we break those two up? Explain that.
I have no idea. No idea.
How did we do that?
Why?
24 for Ramsey.
Yep.
So
Curtis, you got the same guy, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, he had bunch of pressures, bunch of stops, sack. He single-handedly, he even had a pressure that did force another interception in the end zone. He was the man. He basically, one guy really wanted to win.
All right.
But he couldn't overcome the Dolphins.
Anthony, let's get to week 4, man.
All righty, guys. Let's get to week 4 here. I guess we'll start with the Dolphins again. We did a lot of Dolphins talk here. Believe it or not, Dolphins are the only team in the NFL that has not held a lead a single second during regulation. Their only win against the Jaguars. They won the game on a game-winning kick. Haven't held a lead at all. Do you guys think this is the week they turn it around?
Oh, yeah, it's been 40 chess, man. We got everybody believing we're no good. We're going to break out 70 points this week. We're just holding it back, storing our energy. We're waiting. It's like Muhammad Ali in the corner of Frazier. Now we're coming out. Not Frazier against who was it against? Who did he face?
George Foreman. George Foreman.
Not Throwing Manila. Rumble in Jungle.
Rumble in Jungle,
yeah. We suck, dude. I mean, listen, I've been watching football for a long time. When you're on 3rd and 1 and the linebackers play at 5 yards depth and their first step's not to the line of scrimmage, they read and react and drop. That's telling you, man, that hey, we're just going to sit here. You can't pass against past defenses that are sitting in past defenses. And so, it's just bad news, man. So I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know.
We're talking about the previewing
the Titans.
Yes, previewing the game.
Look, we should win this week. We should win. I just started going into the depths of despair. It's just want to walk into the sea and drown myself. I just think of Edgar Allan Poe poems, and it's the siren take me onto my death. I don't know. Anyway, so we should win this week. Listen, I was watching. If you guys are not subscribed, you should subscribe to John Gruden's channel. It's a great channel.
Oh, it's great. I sent you the link. Remember, I talked to you about it.
I was listening before that, but you did.
Oh, well, sorry.
Tommy turned me on to him. Tommy turned me on to him. Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, he's good. It's a really good channel, actually. If you guys take a look.
No, keep going, brother. Keep going. It's your birthday, man.
No, I was just saying, you're right. That's why I didn't even notice it until 2 weeks ago, and I meant to tell you, and then I'm like, oh yeah. But no, it's really guys, if you are interested in some really in-depth football, the dude is so smart.
I miss him.
And bro, and real quick too, there's a video on there, guys, where he actually I guess it's he built this studio, and it has multiple rooms, and each room is from the teams he coached, even if he was a coordinator. And bro, there's all these playbooks and all these tapes. Everything that he ever did in a game is there, Super Bowl, everything, all the playbook. And it's so cool because he invites coaches in that have been fired to go and basically learn things that he just like a history, almost like a lesson too in time. It's really, really cool. But check it out. But go ahead, Curtis.
But yes, it is great. He's great. You got to definitely support it. So anyway, he just talked about how Willis with Green Bay was able to frustrate the Titans. And so if you think about it, we've got extra time to prepare. We're home. It's hot, even though it's at night. they're more injured than us. They've got Petit Freer, who's not playing well. Levis tends to throw picks. They're thin. Simmons might play, but he's injured. All the depth has been injured. They don't have much depth at the edges. The one linebacker, I can't remember his name. He was a first-round pick, number 23 overall. He's not playing good. Woozy's out. There's no reason you should lose this if you get Huntley to just do the right things. Don't turn the ball over. Run the football. Let him call some audibles. Get to the line of scrimmage early. Let him see what some things are. Use that veteran nature. And then buy some time on the move to let Hill and Waddle and Jonnu get open. And then scramble up in the middle. And one of the things Gruden talked about is he had a three-way go. He would run screens to either way, and it would be like read, run, or read. And if you could pick up a few first downs, this team's putting on 16 points a game. So if you play it patient, you're not turning the ball over, you're not being undisciplined. We got a 12th ranked run defense, 12th ranked pass defense. We should win. Now, that being said, we could totally crap the bed with the Dolphins. This is what we do. I had us winning last year, and I went to bed, and it was like I woke up the next morning. I'm like, we won. It's like 3 minutes left in the game. I wake up and we lost. So we can lose. I think we're going to win by 10. I don't think McDaniel could be that insane. You just put a simple playbook. Run zone stretch, boot out. Run zone stretch, boot out. You can't run inside. You got Sweat and Simmons in there. Well, occasionally you do it there, and then you boot out with the run and pass. And he'll streak it across in a big, deep crosser, a big post. If not, take it to the edge. And maybe you do some, screens one way, run up the middle and just keep them balanced and let them make their own mistakes. We should win. But again, will McDaniel do that? Tehran's not going to be in, Full's not going to be in. They got receivers, but Levis hasn't been able to use them. But maybe they wake up this week, But for Petit Free is bad. Phillips should be taking advantage of him. Agba or Campbell should be taking advantage. We should win. If we lose this week, it's an indictment on everything. McDaniel is not capable. I think Greer's already done, but in my mind. But, if you're a Dolphins cover guy, it's like, you got to forgive 50 times 50, until he's actually fired. But McDaniel, I would say I'm done with McDaniel too after this if he loses this week because he has all the tools. They're not a good team. They're so thin. It's hot. Just run the ball. He scrambles around. The pass rush, big fat Sweat and Simmons, they're big guys. They'll get tired. Then you get into their second group of guys, which aren't good. Then maybe you can you've got to be smart. If we lose this game, forget it. But I think we should.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
What's the score prediction real quick? What's your score
prediction? I had 24, 14, 27, 17.
Okay, so about a 10-point. So real quick before I go to Cap D, I got a question for both of you.
Probably end up being 6 to 9 or something.
Hypothetically, if let's say the Huntley does well for you guys, let's say he wins the next 3 games, just hypothetically, and plays well, do you see the fans turning on Tua?
After the Titans game, they're going to be turning.
I'm just very curious. I'm curious on that.
Finn's TD talk will be saying he's the next Skyler.
I'm just saying. Now, what do you think, Captain D? Same thing? You think fans turn because that's how the NFL works?
I don't think so. I think that the fans there ultimately want to see Tua come back and play. It's like when you don't have something, you just want it even more. And being that the injury happened so early in the season, that our mindset going into the season is that there's going to be some maturation with Tua as a player, and let's see how he is with how he lost weight and how this offense is going to be with Jonnu Smith and all these different tools. So I think they're going to, if he decides to come back, I don't think they're going to turn on him.
But I'm saying even if Huntley plays well, let's say you don't see that, like,
I don't think Huntley's going to play that well enough to warrant.
That's all I was at. It was a hypothetical. So what's your thoughts on this game?
I'm not as optimistic as Curtis is. I do think that we are going to lose this game. There's a couple key
Curtis.
there's a couple key matchups that Kendall Fuller's going to be out. He suffered a concussion in Seattle. We're looking at, Ethan Bonner's going to be at the boundary. In the trenches, Lavondre, Mr. Meatloaf Sweat is going to, he's going to be tough. And I've had a hard time pronouncing Aaron Brewer. There's so many different pronunciations I hear, but
He's small.
Is going to have a long night. Now, the Titans defense is not fare well against the rush. So Curtis is absolutely right. They need to run the football. And I think that's why you're seeing Huntley starting, is we're trying to use that, that gadget knife with him and see
RPOs, probably a lot of RPOs.
See if we can spark it. But I think this is going to be a very, very low scoring affair. I'm going to say 13-6 Titans. And because you have to also remember with this game is that you better believe that Jeff Fisher is going to have this team up and running, and they're going to be prepared.
Jeff Fisher.
I see what you did there. You son of a gun. Yeah, I love it. You got me on that one. Yeah, because is he the difference maker?
Jeff Fisher's going to have this team ready, my friend.
Yeah, he's a difference maker. So my.
If we lose, if we lose this game, I mean, that is.
Oh my God! So I think this game's going to be close. I'm with you, Captain D. I think Curtis. I don't think this game's a 10-point. I think you guys win, but I don't think it's 10 points. I think it's something like 6 points. It's 3 to 6 point, but it could also go in favor of the Titans. I honestly, man, it depends on how your coaching staff and McDaniel prepares for this game, what his game plan is for Huntley. If he does the same kind of game plan he did versus Seattle, and Skylar Thompson's not going to work. You got to do a lot. You got to use his legs. You got to run the ball. You got to do with RPO. You got to do a lot of different things that you haven't been doing. And do them well and execute. And players need to buy in. You need to get Hill more involved. There's a lot that can happen. But I do see you guys winning because I still think you have the better roster. And you're at home. And it's humid in Florida. I know. I live there. Well, I don't know you.
I'm just saying in theory and concept. How do we not win? If we lose this one,
if you lose this one, I'm going to say this.
Do the rest of the season in paper bag.
If you lose this one, this will be really, really. This is almost a
1-3.
I would say it's almost where your owner needs to start thinking about next season and what he's going to do with the coaching and GM. If he loses to this game, you can't even without Tua. This is a winnable game. Levis, I like him. I think he's a decent quarterback, but he's making a ton of mistakes. That's his only issue in his sophomore. He's having that sophomore slump where he's just turning the ball over too much, and he's just making idiotic plays at the worst times. But they still have D-Hop. They also have playmakers that could do some things on offense as well and on defense. So that's why I don't think it's going to be like any. I don't think it's going to be 10 points.
They got the rookie, their rookie cornerback. So
I'm gonna go 2017 Dolphins. I think it's going to be close. But I also could see it 2017 Tennessee. I could see it either way, but I'll go Dolphins since you're at home. Anthony, go
maybe
ahead.
I'm hoping I just can't take it anymore. I don't know.
Go ahead, Anthony. What's your prediction?
I don't even know.
Yeah. So as far as this game is concerned, Curtis, I listened to you. Trust me. This Dolphins offense.
Don't listen to me on this one. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Really, I don't.
Protection. I don't see. I have troubles believing how the Dolphins are going to block guys like Sweat, Simmons in the middle there too. I mean, assuming he's playing. I haven't checked the injury report and stuff, but I mean that's going to be. They're going to have their hands full with this Tennessee defensive line. Tennessee's not a great team, but they're strong on the defensive line. And if that's Miami's weak spot, which we see on offense, it's going to be a little bit of a problem for them. And let's be real, their offense isn't great for Tennessee, but Will Levis, when he doesn't do stupid things, can at least move the ball down the field. We haven't seen enough of that with the Dolphins in this short period of time without Tua. So I kind of fall with Cap and D on this one as far as like the results of this game. I kind of fall around 24-10 on this one. I think Tennessee's going to shock a lot of people this week with a big win against the Dolphins. I'm just struggling with where the Dolphins are at right now. And if they're properly built to sustain without Tua, that's the biggest concern I have. All that being said, Daniel can come out with a great game plan, and you guys can steal the win for sure, but I think it's Tennessee.
Damn. All right. Go to the next game, Anthony, which I believe is it's the Patriots and 49ers. Anthony, go ahead.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Patriots 49ers. 49ers are in a little bit of a slide for sure, but I think they get things corrected here. We saw, I think, a marginally we saw the recipe to beat the Patriots last week. What the Jets did really bring that pressure. Oop. Sorry, am I good?
No, you're good. I can hear you still. You're frozen, but we can hear you. Keep talking. Yep, keep talking. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is a week where we're back on track. We saw what this 49ers team can do in the run. I think they're going to attack the Patriots that way, and then just stop the Patriots from running the ball, because that was just, you saw this Patriots offense is very weak when they can't run the football. You can't really trust Jacoby Brissett to get the ball downfield because there's nobody on the outside. I think the Jets gave that recipe. I think 49ers get back on track in a big way here. I'm not sure if they're home or away.
They're home.
Yeah, they're
49ers
home.
are home.
Everything is pointing the wrong direction for the Patriots on this one. So, yeah.
What's your score?
I got the 49ers win this game. It's going to be a big one. I'll go 31-7. Patriots find a way to get a touchdown somehow, but unfortunately,
Curtis,
big time loss.
What you got?
Yeah, the Patriots are kind of screwed. I actually feel better now for some reason. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I feel perked up.
There you go. We knew we'd make you feel better.
I don't get it, man. All of a sudden, I feel jubilant.
Yeah. Woo.
Life is good. So, yeah, I feel bad for Brissett, man. This guy's going to take a beating, man. You watch the last couple of games, this guy has been is he going to make it through this game alive? So, yeah, they're going to win. San Fran's going to win. I think the Patriots defense can kind of make it a little something for a little while. The offensive line of the 49ers isn't what it used to be. It's still finding its way. There's some kind of weird rhythm issues going on a little bit. Ayuk had he had a tantrum on the field. He came out in different color shorts. They asked him to change, and he had a tantrum. So I think they win by 10 to 13 points. I just don't see the firepower of the Patriots being enough, and they're home, the 49ers. They're a better team, so like 27-13 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Patriots are so bad. But it's a rebuild though. They're supposed to be bad. I don't think anyone went into the season going, "Oh, watch out for the Patriots." Like, you got to be realistic, right? So they got a rookie quarterback who's sitting, right, which is a smart thing to do, and they should continue to sit him because he will get eaten alive and probably get hurt. Brissett's listen, man. I like him. He's a tough dude. He's taken some major hits. I don't even know if he makes it through the season with that offensive line. And he's an older quarterback. I mean, he is just that game last week, man, him just getting up from it was brutal. Like, he was taking some shots, man. And they eventually put their backup in, who didn't look much better, and thrown in there and bad.
They put the rookie in.
Yeah, the rookie. Yeah. I would not have done that. Not the right place, not the right time. I think I just didn't like that move by the head coach. For me, you continue to sit that guy. You just take your L's. You get a good draft pick. You build that offensive line. I think their defense is fine. They can get better, but they're very one-dimensional right now on offense because they can't do much. And they got to run the ball. And the problem is running the ball is they got a bad offensive line. So defenses are just turning up on them and just bringing the heat. And and they're getting smacked around. There's not much they could do. And when their offense is one-dimensional and they're on and off the field, 3 and out that quick, their defense is going to get tired. They're going to break, and that's what they did last week. And they're going to continue to break, especially against better teams. And this week against the 49ers, they're going to get broken down. They're going to get chewed up and spit out.
Smile going into that Monday night game, baby.
It is not going to be nice. And the 49ers are banged up too, but even with their injuries, they're still way above, just better than the Patriots at this point. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go 27-9, 49ers. And I'm being nice. I think 9 is maybe even pushing it with the way their offense is rolling right now. Captain D.
Jacoby Brissett got beat up pretty badly. The Jets did a number on him last Thursday, and it was a rough outing for the Patriots. I kind of see the same road for the Patriots this tomorrow, but their defense can do some really nice things. It's just the offense is just very, very stagnant right now. There's only so much you can put on Lamondre Stevenson's plate. And yes, he's a great running back, but I think the offense is just it's struggling right now. So I'm going to go 24-6 Niners.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just right. That sounds right.
How many points did they put up against the Jets?
They put up 3 points.
Oh, was it 3? I thought they had 10. Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse.
I think I want to downgrade. I want to downgrade. I want to do an edit.
So before I just want to touch on one thing. I just want to ask you guys one thing. So, Tommy, I'm with you. I wouldn't put the rookie in at all this season. This offensive line's abysmal. The offense as a whole is abysmal. But we know the way the NFL is. We know the way this thing works. As they continue to lose, the questions are going to start to come. When do you think it's the right time to put Drake May in? Do you put him in to get some experience? So on and so forth. All those questions are eventually going to start. And, that puts pressure on these coaches. That puts pressure on the front office. That puts pressure on ownership to get that message down. And let's be real too. Like there's going to come a point where people are not going to want to go to these games anymore. And putting Drake May in there, while it's a stupid decision, in my opinion, it's going to be probably the only way to get people in the seats to see what the future might be with this quarterback in a terrible environment. So do you really think that they can go this whole season without putting him in?
I do. I think if you see him, it's not going to be till like week 15 or something late in the season, maybe get a couple games under his belt. But even then, I think it's a real risky move. But you got to remember, this is the Patriots. They understand what they knew going into the season was probably not going to be a good season. They understood that. That's why Brissett started. They got a rookie head coach. Let's be real, but they got an owner who understands. Like Robert Kraft understands what's going on here, and I think the fan base gets it too. They could boo all they want, but you don't think they're going to be booing even more if their guy goes out there and gets hurt? Of course they will. And now you get him hurt, and now he can't start next season. It would be a terrible thing to do. I think that, and it would just, you can't always listen to the outside noise because they're booing or they want May in. Of course, I get it. I get it as a fan. You want to see a rookie, but you have to be realistic and see what's going on the field. And okay, if you want him in, you're going to understand he's going to get some. Yeah, he may get some learning experiences, but he also may get injured and not be able to play next year. And then you got a real problem on your hand for next season, because now you got to go. Yeah, because now you got to go and you got to find another quarterback to start. It's just not a bright thing to do. I do think he might come in, like I said, late, maybe a game or two left in the season. But even then, I think it's really a risky move. What I think they do, and the right thing to do, is they need to go out and get another quarterback, because I don't think Brissett is going to last. Have a quarterback on your practice squad, get him ready, because I don't think Brissett's going to make it through a whole season. I think he's going to get banged up. Go out there, get a veteran quarterback. It don't matter. Pick up Mike White from a practice squad. There's a lot of guys they could scoop up from practice squads that can manage and go through the rest of the season. You don't have to pay them a lot. You don't have to worry about it. That's what I would do. But who knows? Like you said, sometimes coaches get a little bit worked up and they just want to please the fans. But I don't think that'll be the case in New England. Curtis, go.
Yeah, for me, I think what they did the last time, if you're getting blown out, you put him in for the last couple of minutes, a drive or two to end the games. He gets to feel the speed of the game. You protect him from balls, and you just give him while poor Brissett is being ground into like chopped meat. You could bring him at the end of the games and get him a slow feel for it as the season goes. Definitely not long term. But you definitely want him to get to feel the speed, like, whoa, like, and just.
That's true. Yeah.
Do it multiple times. It'll kind of slow the game down for him without putting him in too much jeopardy.
Yeah. D?
I could see that they bring him in later on in the season if their record's really bad, which it probably is going to be, that they bring him in, give him some time, or like Curtis was just saying, I think it would be very, very detrimental to him to bring him in this early. But I don't know. Brissett got banged up, and that game was kind of towards the end, but they brought him in. You know what I mean? So we might see him earlier than we think.
And I'll tell you, they brought him in, and he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah.
He looked like a lost puppy out there, man. So I would and not only that though. Pick your poison. You're going against the Jets, who want to keep you from scoring. Teams like defenses love, like when they have a game going on like that, they do not want a touchdown. If they, they don't give a shit. If it's 2 minutes left and you're driving, that's what they want. They want to leave that game with a touchdown, no touchdown. It's like, yeah. And the last thing you want is a rookie coming in and scoring a touchdown on you. So I think that was risky. And I'm going to tell you, the Jets did not give a fuck. They were going right after that young quarterback, and they were going to make a pay, and that's why he was kind of a little bit lost out there. So if you're going to do it, pick your poison. If you're going to throw him in there, go maybe against a team, like I said, late in the season, who maybe already made the playoffs or not, they're resting their starters. Okay, throw them in there, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would do. But once again, who knows? But they need to start looking for a quarterback just as a
insurance policy.
Insurance policy, yeah. Because I'm telling you, Brissett's not going to make it. He is not going to make it. I just don't see it happening. So, but yeah, let's move on to the Broncos and the Jets. Woohoo, the Broncos Jets. Go ahead, Anthony. Your team.
Yeah. So I was pretty confident last week going to the Patriots game. I had that same confidence with this week against Denver. I know Denver's coming off a strong performance, 7 sacks from the defense. Bo Nix got the offense moving around. Him specifically getting out of the pocket, scrambling a little bit. But I think he's going to get his first taste of what a real strong NFL defense is. No disrespect to Tampa, but Jets are just a little bit more in the elite category than Tampa is at the moment. Jets are going to probably come out there with a similar game plan that they did with the Patriots because similar to the Patriots, not many guys on the outside. You got Cortland Sutton, but they'll probably go one-on-one with him with Sauce Gardner covering him for the most part. And they're gonna attack this rookie and try and get him uncomfortable and force him into making some mistakes, get him into 3rd and longs. I think it's going to be a very similar game plan that we saw previously. And I think on the offensive side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he's starting to get into his rhythm, starting to get comfortable, starting to get a little more confidence in his lower body because that was obviously an issue the first couple of weeks, wasn't getting out of the pocket enough. Started doing that a little bit more in the Patriots game. I think it's going to start getting more and more built into his playing style again. I think they're going to go into this game, big win. Score-wise, because I've been doing blowouts for all these games. But I'll go 24-10 with the Jets on this one. I just think Denver's just not there yet. Big win for the Jets on this one.
All right. Yeah, man. Look, I'm surprised they won last week. I think Tampa just dropped the ball there. I think they underestimated them coming in. It was kind of like one of those games where They probably felt like they were going to win with ease. And you can't do that in the NFL. Like every team is dangerous, no matter who they got, or no matter what their record. And Tampa just got caught sleeping, man. But Denver's bad, bro. Denver, I mean, just look at their stats. Like they're passing Bo Nix 4 interceptions. He turns the ball over a lot. Guess who's leading their team in running? Bo Nix. I mean, they have no running game. It's terrible. Their leading receiver is Josh Reynolds, who's okay. I mean, I like Sutton, but man, their defense is okay. But their offense struggles, man. Bo Nix, young guy, is going against a veteran defense in the Jets, defensive-minded head coach who's probably going to just go after the rookie, make him, force him to make mistakes, which he's probably going to do. And yeah, this is going to be a long day for Denver. Being in New Jersey as well, I just don't see it going well. Now, I think their defense has done well enough to keep it somewhat of a game early on, but I just don't think Denver's offense has anything going on right now. So yeah, I think the Jets wind up winning. I think it's close in the first quarter, maybe quarter and a half, maybe, and then the Jets just turn it on, get a couple turnovers, good field position for the offense. Aaron Rodgers looked really sharp last week, so I'll go 27-10 Jets. Curtis?
Yeah, I think that's about right. They're off. It's a shame because Javonte Williams is such a good back, but you need that in order to really attack the Jets. I think the one kryptonite you can see in the Jets' defense is the interior run game. You can get that interior run game, they get all out of sorts. But they're not going to be able to do that. Their offensive line's garbage. They've gutted everything. It's a doom patrol. 10 points, maybe 7 points, 10 points, 13 points, something around that. But yeah, Jets I think going to handily take them. Jets look good. Aaron Rodgers as long as he's healthy, you can see he's just Aaron Rodgers on the move, calling things. So yeah, I'm not going to expound on too much because it's all been pretty much covered. It's going to be a blowout win.
Yeah.
I'll be different. I'll dare to be different. I'll say 31-10.
Yeah, I can see that. Captain D?
Such a weird game because, it was going back to the Tampa, we were just talking about Tampa losing and how the Broncos went in there. That was a head scratcher for me because I actually like Todd Bowles. I think he's a good head coach. They were coming off a nice win on the road in Detroit, and then the freaking Broncos come in and just spank them. So looking at the schedule, it's going to be in New York. I mean,
New Jersey.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, New Jersey. I'm sorry.
Get it right. Where there's only one New York team, by the way. Let's get that right.
But
Islanders.
The Island.
All right.
But
Closer to Canada than the city. Let's go.
Oh my God. Aaron Rodgers looked good on Thursday. He looked in full command. He looked savvy. He played the part that Aaron Rodgers should play. He looked really, really good. But I don't know. Are we in the midst of something new with this Denver Broncos team? I don't know. They're going on the road.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I might be willing to roll the dice on this one right here.
Whoa! Upset alert! Upset
I'm
alert!
going upset alert on this
Whoa.
one. Is this the coming out party for Bo Nix? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm going to say this is going to be...
I like it.
Broncos 45, Jets 2.
Damn.
I'm going to say this one's going to be coming down to the wire, and the Broncos pull this off by a field goal. I'm going...
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Dude, that would be like... You'd feel like a Dolphin fan, Anthony, if that happened.
I'm going 24-27. They beat a good Tampa Bay team in Tampa.
Oof.
That's a good defense right there. And I'm saying,
Damn.
I'm going out on a limb on this one.
Yeah, I'm putting
Yeah.
27
Nothing wrong with that. Ain't
You're
nothing
almost
wrong
in
with
my
that.
office with that limb. That limb almost reaches for me.
I'm going out on a limb on this one.
27 given up by the Jets defense.
That's a good Buccaneers defense that they put up 26 on. So I'm going to go with an upset.
Bo
Made
Nix
me
goes
feel good,
crazy.
though. He made me feel good.
Bo Nix runs wild on the Jets.
Wild, man.
Oh man!
Bo
All right,
Nix
let's get
looks
to the
like
last
Lamar
game.
Jackson.
Let's get to the last game, Anthony. Ravens and Bills. Sunday Night Football. Go ahead. We'll start with Curtis, and I'll end it.
I'm starting to cover the Bills again. I'm like getting myself prepared to cover them again. I find
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, no, I gotta cover somebody who's winning, right? I got angry fans to deal with.
It's all right. You see in the background, I could send you a mini helmet if you want. Like a Bills mini.
I'm covering them. I'm not following them.
I thought you said you're turning the page, like because I have some like
I'm
shirts,
too dumb
jerseys.
for that.
No?
I've been a friend with you how long? You can tell I'm dumb, man.
Go ahead, Curtis.
I think that it's going to be a challenging game. I think they got Pierce back, and they got Jones. Those guys are brutes inside, and they're able to take control. I think your interior O-line is going to have some struggles against them. But when I look on their offensive line, their whole right side, they lost it. It looks bad. And Rousseau
a lot of guys are hurt on their offensive line.
Curtis, and Rousseau is going to feast. You know, and you can rotate Vaughn and Rousseau. I think the Bills are going to win. I think Allen's going to have to do a little more magic than his usual. I don't trust Lamar. I just don't. It's something he's a big time player. He always seems to like choke at the highest point. I think Allen, I like him better. I like the balance. They're not able to run like they used to. You know, although they got Henry now. It'll be interesting to see. You are a little thin at the linebacking group. You're a little thin on the interior. I like Oliver and Daquan, but Daquan's not back to Daquan still. And then you get the rookie behind with the D tackle. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a 3-point game or like a 4-point game or something. You know, I think the Bills win. I think it's around the 21, 24, 20 to 24 mark. I think the Bills win. I think Allen's going to do enough. You know, I think he's going to win, and I think Lamar's just he's going to have that right side crumble, and something's not going to go his way, and he's just not going to make the big pass. So I'm going to go Bills win by 4 points.
All right, Anthony.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first big test for the Bills. Going to Baltimore. Really, as from a defensive standpoint, I think it's going to be the strongest defense they played so far this year. Dolphins aren't there. Arizona, their defense okay. It's just not great. Baltimore's be the first biggest test. And how they handle Lamar is going to be a big test too. Without Milano, they do have good linebackers there, but who's going to spy him? Who's going to keep him in control? Derrick Henry, as we all know, Ravens are a run-first team. Derrick Henry only makes that running game a lot more powerful and stronger for a team that was already elite in the run game. So they're adding a strength to a strength already. All that to be said, I think what we're seeing out of the Bills is a team that's evolving, a team that's definitely kind of got their eyes set on success this season. And like I said, this is their first major test, and I think they're going to pass it. It's a big game vibes in this one. But I think the way that Josh Allen's playing, he's playing MVP caliber, and I think that continues this week. Give him 24-21 against the Ravens. I think that I'm with you, Curtis. There's something about Lamar. He's a great player, but when you get to these big games and you against bigger teams or teams that are in the top elite category, he keeps it close, but he doesn't kind of get across.
Yeah,
similar issue here against the Bills. So yeah, 24-21. I'll go with this game.
All right, Captain D.
So the Bills they've won the last 2 meetings with the Ravens. And this is, being a Dolphins fan, we all know what the history is with Dolphins and the Bills. The Bills have owned us. So I'm not saying that's the case with the Bills and Ravens, but as much as I hate to say this, it almost feels like Josh Allen has found the Infinity Stone. He just seems like he's got it. He's got it. You know what I mean? And you know, I've I've got the Bills in this one. There seems like there might be some turmoil with the Ravens, from head coaching decisions. I know Lamar was bitching, and there was.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are they saying Harbaugh was like something's going on with
So,
sideline with him too?
I don't know exactly what's going on with them, but this is going to be a tough game. I believe it's in Baltimore. Am I correct?
Yeah, Baltimore. Yep,
it's
Baltimore.
in Baltimore. Doesn't make.
Maybe they can fly a Harbaugh thing and come to Miami.
Yep, that would be great. But I have the Bills taking care of business on the road. Josh Allen, the Bills, they've got it figured out right now. I'm going to say 31-17 Bills.
Ooh.
Yeah, you have it really close to me, Captain D. So I have very similar score, by the way. So yeah, man, we've played Baltimore very well. McDermott has played Lamar very well. He seems to have his number the last times we played him, the last few times. Now, I get it. We have to have a spy. You always have to have a spy on him. And we have that extra safety. We always bring that extra safety in. That will probably be the spy. It normally would be Rap before, but so we'll see who comes down in the box. But there is a difference this year compared to the years prior with Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry has been a thorn on our side. He is a one-of-one type of running back. He is tough, man. But I feel like if we can stop the run or at least contain, like keep it modest, right? And their offensive line is really banged up. They have like 3 or 4 guys that are just banged up. So if we could bring our 4 in, collapse the pocket, and Rousseau and Vaughn on the outside, and even AJ. Yeah, man, I think we can really get to Lamar, or at least have him make bad decisions. And I feel like we can offensively, the way we're playing right now, getting ahead early on, it's going to force them to be kind of one-dimensional almost, and kind of leave it in Lamar's hand. And that's when the Bills play really well against Baltimore in the past, because we've always had a little bit of lead, and Lamar just kind of plays a little sloppy turnover. So I feel like we get the lead, we'll keep the lead like we've been doing. And yeah, I think the score is 34-17. I think we take care of business. I still don't think that defenses quite understand our puzzle yet on offense, on how to stop it. It's just executed right. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if they have the answer. But I think it's easier said than done. It's just, you don't know where the ball is going. And right now, Allen is taking what the defense is giving him, which is great. It's great to see. There's no forced balls downfield. All week too, they've been talking about, and of course the slander. Oh, Josh Allen talking about Stephon Diggs. It's not really. They're just saying that how the offense now is compared to last year, which is we're not forcing the ball down the field to just one particular player. We're mixing it in now with everybody's kind of getting the piece of the pie. So, which is holding true so far. So, I don't know how Baltimore stops that. It would have to honestly be just poorly executed on our part. But yeah, 34-17, I think we take care of business, but it is tough, man. We have we have 3 games on the road coming up, guys. So, for the Buffalo Bills, that is a rough stretch coming up. And we got Houston, I believe, right after this. So, and that's going to be an interesting one. So
I like you most against them.
Yeah, I do too. They didn't look too hot last week, but yeah, 34-17. I think we take care of business on the road. Just more momentum moving forward for this team. And but it'll be a fun game. It would definitely be a fun game to watch.
Just like a Dolphins game. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Happy times.
A lot of happy times. Woo! So, Anthony, we always do a rant of the week segment for anyone that has a rant. So, do you have a rant, Anthony?
I mean, it was my rant last week. I'm going to kind of mimic it a little bit here with kind of the treatment of the refs in these games a little bit, especially in the Kansas City game. You have back-to-back weeks, critical plays, critical pass interference calls, falling in the favor of the Chiefs. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's kind of. I know the NFL is big on the Chiefs being successful. The whole Taylor Swift, whatever the heck, they want this team to make a run, as they always do. But like you hear that these refs don't want to make the critical call late in these games, and 2 weeks in a row, we're getting a situation where let's be honest, the flag is falling on the Chiefs' side in all these games. I mean, something's got to give on these situations. Either call it both ways, the way it should be, or fucking let's get these refs out of these games. Use the video assist ref a little bit more. I know they did that in the Giants game in the holding call that was eventually a touchdown, but they didn't use it earlier in the game on a face mask that was completely botched. They called it on the wrong team. I mean, we're reaching a point in the season. I mean, we're only at week 4, but these games are going to get more and more important as we progress. And I mean, we just can't. I mean, it's annoying when these games get decided by the refs. We need this game decided on the field by the players. So nothing we can do about it, but that's my rant.
Yeah, I'm with you in a way. I think the refs have done a better job this year. But man, the Chiefs games are terrible. I don't know. No, I don't understand that. But
the Chiefs, don't they get it? It's the Jordan rule.
Yeah. Any rants for you, Captain D, this week?
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
I'll save it. I could go on and on, but I'll save it.
Oh, you're gonna save your rant? All right. Okay, Captain
save my
D.
rant.
All right, Curtis.
I ran this whole podcast.
You did. You're right. You did. This was just one big rant.
Man. It was the extendo rant.
The extended version. Of the rant. Right. All right. I don't. Honestly, I don't think I have any this week, man.
90-minute rant.
The 90-minute rant. Curtis.
No, it's like the 2.5 decade rant.
Oh my God. But no, that's it. I think that's it. Anthony, you want to close us out?
Yeah. Thanks for joining everyone. Everyone's in the chats. Everyone that's joined us today. Tommy, Curtis, Cap D, thank you for joining. And we'll be on next week. Whose channel we got? Are we back on next week?
Yep. Mafia Sports Report next week, guys. So we'll be right back on Mafia Sports Report, and then the following week we are on. I believe Curtis is the following week, and then Zach.
So Curtis, yeah.
Yep. So next week Mafia Sports Report, and then Curtis after that. So, all right, and then by the way, real quick, Captain D, you are going to host one of these shows on Curtis's channel very soon. You better get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready. Curtis is giving you those keys. One of these. All right, buddy. All right, guys. Go Bills.
All
right. Let's go Jets.
Go Bills. You're on a delay, so we're good. Go Bills. You're still on a delay. Go Bills. Go Bills.